Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Father TED Talks. Today, I wanted to speak a little bit about the journey of Great Lent, but not so much the structure of it, but rather this phenomenon that exists within the greater Orthodox Church of our average Orthodox Christians missing out on this beautiful opportunity of actually experiencing the gifts and the benefits of what Great Lent has to offer. And what do I mean by this? At least in the Greek Orthodox Church, there is this phenomenon of, number one, many people not bothering to fast anymore, not bothering to actually engage in the services of Great Lent during the week. And we have increased services like Great Compline and Pre-Sanctified Liturgy, and of course the beautiful hymns to the Virgin Mary for the salutations, which has to do with the feast of the Annunciation. And of course the Saturday of the Souls, and all these extra services that are existing during the great Lenten season. And also, there are also other people who may be engaged just a little bit. For example, they'll say, Father, I like to fast the first week of Great Lent and the last week of Great Lent, but in between, I just can't do it, or I don't bother. And so, my response to all that is, well, firstly, why are we making kind of decisions on our own and tailoring and changing the fasting tradition of the church to suit our own needs? Number one, without the consultation of our local confessor, our spiritual father. And second of all, why would we think that this is a good idea? Well, the reason why people think this is a good idea, or they feel that they have the freedom to do this, which of course they do, we're all free human beings, we do whatever we want, but the reason why people think that they can be good Orthodox Christians and also kind of tailor and change things to suit their needs is partly because, a lot of people may not go to church quite often. They may not understand the significance of Great Lent and the reason why we do it. They may not understand the significance or appreciate the necessity of fasting. Or also, they may not have a spiritual father. They may not have a spiritual guide because they never confess. And all these reasons means that a lot of people who may say these things are disconnected from the life of the church. They're disconnected from the meanings of why we do the things we do, in the same way as a person maybe who goes to the gym may go there, but they don't know really how to exercise. They don't have a personal trainer. They never really looked up how to do the exercises properly. And so maybe they're doing some of the exercises correctly. Maybe they're not. They're not getting the results that they want. And then they either quit the gym or they don't go as often because they don't see a great benefit. The reason why they quit is not because the gym is no good, or because there isn't the proper equipment there, or there aren't the proper classes, or there aren't the proper exercises. It's just they themselves are ignorant of those proper exercises. They're not doing it right. The method is not correct, and so they're not getting the proper results. And so in the same way, when we talk about Great Lent, for example, which is the largest fasting season of the year, and also the most intense, it is crafted in a way as to help us approach the resurrection of Christ, Holy Pascha, and to appreciate it and to experience it in a way that is profound for us. It is a way of us changing ourselves so that our perception of the resurrection changes every year, and that we become closer and closer to understanding what Christ did for us, what does his resurrection mean for us in our lives, and how that transforms us. So I'll give you a very, very quick example, and I've used this example many times. When I was 16 years old, I was blessed to go on a trip to the Holy Land, to Israel, but also into Egypt with my youth group. And during that trip, we went into Egypt, went to the Sinai Peninsula, and we were able to visit Mount Sinai, which is, as we know, in the Old Testament, where Moses got the Ten Commandments. He received the Ten Commandments from God. And at that site, there is a monastery, of course, of St. Catherine. It's an Orthodox, the oldest operating monastery in the world, Orthodox monastery in the world. And it is on the site where the burning bush was, where Moses was spoken to by God through the burning bush. And one can climb the mountain up to the top, where there's a tiny little chapel at the peak of Mount Sinai, where it is believed that Moses received the Ten Commandments. I was able to do this, and a lot of pilgrims, what they do is that they start, climbing the mountain really, really early in the morning, like maybe 2:30 or 3 in the morning, because it does take the average person about 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours sometimes to get to the summit, depending on their age and how fast they go. And people like to reach the summit right at the moment of the sunrise, coming up over the Sinai Peninsula. It's a beautiful sight to see this, and many people want to be there at that moment. And so we did this, and we started when it was dark, and we made our way up to the mountain, and it was a hard climb, it was a struggle. But when we got up there, we were able to kind of experience this beautiful sunrise in this very, very holy spot. Now, the reason why I bring up this example is that if we think about Great Lent as a way of understanding climbing a mountain, and that the peak of the mountain is the resurrection, it is that beautiful sunrise coming up over the Sinai Peninsula, everybody is going to come, at least every Orthodox Christian is going to come to the resurrection. Or rather, better said, the resurrection is going to come whether we like it or not. We're all going to come to it. But the difference is that how did we arrive to that point? Some people, they climb the mountain, and it's a hard struggle. And when you get to the top, you really experience that sunrise with a sense of accomplishment, looking down and saying, this is what I did. This is the struggle that I had coming up this mountain to reach this peak. Other people might take a helicopter to the top. They might pay somebody, they jump in the helicopter, and in about 5-6 minutes, they have ascended to the top and they get dropped off on the top, and they can also experience the beautiful sunrise. But I will tell you that the difference between the person who struggled up the mountain and the person who took the helicopter ride up to the top, their experience of that sunrise is going to be radically different. And of course, you can understand that the person who struggled is going to have a much more profound an appreciation for that sunrise than the person who simply took the helicopter to the top and experienced it and then jumped on the helicopter and descended again. This is the same way that Great Lent works, is that we put ourselves through the struggle of Great Lent. We try to fast from things that we love so we can gain self-control over our bodies, that our minds and our souls are more powerful than the flesh, than our bodies, so we can control other things in our lives. By first controlling food, we try to take the money that we save from buying rich and expensive foods and give it away to the poor. So we're doing almsgiving and expressing and practicing love and forgiveness. We try to forgive everybody around us, and we go to more church services so that we gain more strength, spiritual strength, and teaching from these experiences as we climb this Lenten mountain to the top. And so we do this because we are taking the opportunity. We are not missing the chance to learn from this experience, so that when we come to the resurrection, and we have been fasting for 40 days plus Holy Week, which is 47 days, and our bodies are a little bit weak, but our souls are very strong, and we experience that light of the resurrection, and then we experience the divine liturgy immediately afterwards, and that first thing in our mouth is the body and blood of Christ, Holy Communion. That experience is profound for a person who has been depriving themselves for so long and has been climbing that mountain. For the person who's been eating whatever they want and hasn't gone to any services, and it's been business as usual, and they've been kind of going about their lives as everybody else, and there's been no change, then what is the difference between any Sunday that they happen to go to church and Pascha? There is no difference, except that perhaps maybe they go in midnight, they light a candle and they say Christ has risen, and then they go back home again. So it really kind of cheapens the experience. It brings it down to a level where it's kind of an everyday experience. This is just another service for me. Maybe it's fun to go from a cultural point of view, but I'm kind of really missing the opportunity to really engage and to really grow in my faith through this Lenten journey. And so, kind of bringing it back to the beginning of this video, as I was saying, that we shouldn't kind of pass on this opportunity to grow. I know it's hard. I know a lot of people kind of, don't want to do it, or maybe they don't feel the need to do it, but that's because they've never experienced the fruits of the Lenten journey when it's done in the proper way. And if they've never experienced it, I would recommend to everybody to at least try. Start this year, give it a try. If you can't do the full fast, do something. Do no meat. Do something else. But the point is that try to take the Lenten journey as it's prescribed by the church, because the church has kind of crafted this over the last 2,000 years. There's a reason why it's done in this way. Don't change it and cater it according to your own likes and dislikes. This is not what we're supposed to be doing during Great Lent, but rather try to be obedient to the church and to the beautiful tradition of the church, and see where it takes you. See what the results are at the end. A lot of times when we go to the gym or when we do other kind of like physical activities, we like to say, trust in the process. If you have a trainer, they will say, just trust me, do what I'm telling you, and you will see the results at the end. It may not seem like this right now. It may be painful. It may be tiring, but push through it, and you will see at the end that you will really appreciate the effort that you've put in. I would say the exact same thing as a spiritual trainer. I would say that, put in the time, put in the effort, and you will see the benefits at the end. And if you don't believe me, speak to some of those people in your parish who do take the journey, who do fast, who do go to all the Lenten services. Ask them what their experience of Great Lent is and how it's changed their lives, and listen to their testimony about how important it is in their lives, how much it has transformed them, and then maybe that will give you the impetus, the strength, the push to kind of try it out for the first time yourself as well. So this is something that I kind of wanted to throw out there, especially now as we are about to begin Great Lent this year. I hope that you all kind of take the journey, give it a chance, and try to come to the glorious resurrection with a proper preparation so that we may experience and celebrate Christ's resurrection in the most beautiful and the most profound way possible. Till next time, take care and God bless.